Bronwyn Bishop is here, the former Speaker of the House. Linda Scott is with the City of Sydney. She's a councillor and, of course, head of the Local Government Association, all of these things. Ladies, hello. Now, I've talked about this a lot, which is potholes. Put simply, we hear every single week, every year, about how government's going to spend $1 gazillion on this and $1 trillion on that. We're going to fix the health system and fix it. But when there's a pothole that's been there month after month after month after month, you kind of doubt whether the system's working at all. The NRMA's been on this for a couple of weeks now, and they talk about just how much damage is being done to cars, particularly in New South Wales. Roll the tape.
The analysis we've done of the backlog of funding for councils both in Sydney and regional, so that's 128 councils. It's about $1.9 billion up until the end of 2021. Based on what we're currently seeing, the likelihood is that that number, that 1.9 billion, is going to be completely blown out of the water.
So they're saying in the past 6 months, 55,000 cars have needed repairs because of potholes. Linda, I'm sure it's a long answer, but why can't we just fix the potholes?
Yeah, look, the short answer to your question is, of course, funding, right? So councils have across the nation estimated that the cost of replacing the potholes that have been damaged and created because of all this rain is in the order of $3.8 billion. That is equivalent to the nation's foreign aid budget. So we're talking about a huge amount of funding. To give you some perspective, councils each year from the federal government get about $500 million in roads to recovery. But we've had thousands of kilometres of road smashed because of course, all the rain on the East Coast. And then to add to that, in some councils like Forbes, with wonderful Phyllis Miller as their mayor, just totally roads completely washed away. So the damage here is astronomical. It is absolutely outside the realms of local government's budgets across the nation. We collect, as an example, about 4% of the nation's tax take. So this is a huge issue. We're advocating next year in the federal budget for the Commonwealth Government to increase roads to recovery funding from $500 to $800 million a year. That's not the total cost of it. But without these routes, these freight routes to get the produce off the farms and into my part of the world, like the City of Sydney, without these roads to get people around, we're creating road safety hazards, we're creating productivity gaps. And I think what's important for everybody to focus on here is not the cost, which is enormous, but the cost of not doing it, because that is when you start to see figures really
I've got no problem with the cost. I've got no problem with the cost. If we can sort of pull money out of our backside for here, there and everywhere, we can do it for this, right? We can reallocate some money. Just get it done, and please don't wait until May of next year for it to roll out from July next year. Although I know you don't pay attention to what I'm saying. What's Linda saying?